Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for this week's edition of the Just Us Review. We like to take our favorite shows. They can be from any kind of media. They can be superhero, supernatural even. They should start at season 5. Or they can be horror. We don't care. Because if we like it, we love it. If we hate it, God damn it, you gonna hear about it today. Today in particular, we got to keep that ball moving. You guys know what just came out. It's called WandaVision. That's right. They're trucking along. There's only one more episode to go. But right now, we're going to talk about this episode. We're going to talk about the goods. We're going to talk about the bads. And, of course, give you guys our theories about what's coming around that corner. But before we get into that knit and that grit, let's go around this table. John, how you feel about this episode?
I thought it was vastly improved from the last couple, but I still had a couple of issues.
Okay. I like the way you tell the ball said. What you feeling over there?
I really, really like this episode if it was 3 episodes ago.
That's right. You sound like that's right, Sid. Tell us how you really feel, like you've been held hostage. What about you, Christian?
You can go first.
Thank you, Christian.
I thought it was okay myself.
This was probably my favorite episode thus far. Hopefully, I would say that about next week's episode, but yeah.
Okay, a wish and a prayer. Christian, what are you thinking?
It was fine.
Okay.
There were things that were done on there that I feel validate my complaints, but I still have some specific complaints, but we'll get into that.
Or as a Christian would like to say, a C plus C crusty. So, we will get into this. Let's talk about the great.
C plus is passing.
Let's get into the. You good?
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the meat of this episode. Let's talk about the goods and the standouts. Let me go first. Agatha Harkness, I'm sorry, she stole it. This was her episode and pretty much her show as it stands. I thought she was leaps and bounds above what we've gotten so far. So I give a shout out to the actress who portrays her. She was very good, very in the way she carried herself throughout the show. But we can keep the ball moving.
I like the fact that Agatha did the thing that I thought she was going to do a long time ago. They just crafted it in a different way. And that is, she pretty much gave Wanda therapy.
We'll talk about that. But one thing I do want to talk about since we're talking about Agatha, Christian pointed out something that I didn't realize till he said it. Agatha's rocking her uniform. Go ahead, Christian.
The actual outfit that she first wore back in Fantastic Four, something asshole. And I'll be honest with you, it was comic accurate, but you look too young to be wearing it. Like, I'm not saying you gotta show a titty or anything, but at least change you could at least contemporize that outfit. Like, sometimes the like she's wearing old lady. Yeah,
Or
she's
maybe
wearing
she
old.
was just sticking to the fashion that her coven was actually wearing in the 1600s.
I guess.
She is 300, 400 years old.
She didn't wear that back in the 1500s.
Yeah, she was.
Again, she didn't show ankle in the 1600s either. But moving on, some of the goods of this episode.
Me. So I like how they pretty much took us through what happened, and maybe certain people aren't the bad guys that y'all were saying was the bad guys, but I've been hollering for the last few weeks weren't the bad guys. And now I'm talking about Agatha and Hayward.
I thought you were talking about Billie Eilish.
I'm still on fuck Hayward.
No, I got some thoughts about Hayward.
Wait. We will save that for theories and the bad part, but go ahead.
I also want to point out when she first basically captures Wanda and she's talking about the runes that she has. She's basically testing one. She's like, you've got magic like I've got magic, but I don't know how you have this level of power that I haven't been able to achieve in my centuries of practicing.
On top of the fact that she was pretty much like, what are you doing in my town? Get out.
Mm-hmm. But I love that. I love that fact. It was like Agatha was just sitting there chilling, doing her thing. probably cooking some children, and all of a sudden her sinus spider says, "Ping!" She's like, "Boom! What the fuck is over there?" I'm going to investigate.
Like if you were really trying to pull for Agatha to be the villain, at best she's just a very aggressive power scale.
But one of my favorite things about this episode is that it mentioned several things. First of all, we got to mention the probability powers. Mm-hmm. Yes. Comic book accurate. I love it because we also got the mention of Scarlet Witch and the way that she dropped it, and I loved how she got to that point.
Scarlet Witch is a title like Yanka. That's what we're or something.
Yeah. I mean, I'm cool with it.
Supposedly they did it in the comics.
They did.
Well, that's not how she.
Her code word of the Scarlet Witch is just a name she picked. What you're thinking about is you watched Dopespill, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not the Scarlet Witch.
Okay.
Well, it's I just like it because of the fact that she just twisted it like, okay, chaos magic, which is normally sold in the red. We're gonna flip this and give you the Scarlet Witch title. Mm-hmm. But like I said, Agatha was a standout for me, and everything that she brought to the table, even breaking down Wanda's history to find her trigger, was awesome.
I also love the fact that my worst suspicions were not confirmed, and that Wanda actually created Vision from her own magic and did not
You don't say.
His corpse, which I was really hoping wouldn't happen, and you guys were telling me it did happen, and so I'm no longer. I'm saying these two.
Okay.
You were just drinking your apple juice.
First of all, let's get that out of the way because that is a.
Is it a bad? If so, we gotta wait.
So,
if it is a bad, we wait.
Keep going. I'll mention it in the bad.
I'm gonna bring up something which makes it even worse. All right, another good coming across the screen.
So one of my goods is Agatha didn't say the magic H word, which would have given this series a 0.
Hydra. Mm-hmm. Everything is not Hydra.
You think?
Yeah, go.
You sure?
Yeah.
Of course, the reveal at the end of the White Vision. I like it because, of course, it's a throwback to the classic Vision look that we've seen before.
He used to be in the Klan.
All of that was a throwback
when he used to be in the Klan.
Okay, I don't know. This reference. I'm not going to.
White Vision was when he used to hang around with the Klan, but that was.
Yeah, y'all didn't read that one. Mm-hmm. He was like.
I feel like I was spared.
Falcon and Black Panther had to fight him. They was like, if this ain't
we're playing.
But also, what was also a throwback is when she goes to see the body, they pulled that straight from the comics. In the comics, her and Wasp go to see the body, but it's even worse in the because there's not a head there. It's just cords. It's cords and
that
shit.
Thing that they showed where Hayward was super cordial and
no, he was. That's gonna be the best. Shut up.
We gonna argue about it, and I'm gonna tell you why you wrong.
Moving on to the more goods, I like the fact that we saw her first interaction with the Mind Stone, and how that progressed. I also like the fact that we also found out that she's actually a mutant. Her powers existed before the stone.
So do witches.
Her powers are mystical. That is something that is a mystical.
Shut up! She's a mutant.
No.
Stop trying to push that.
Okay. I'm just glad that she had her powers beforehand, and that we figured out that the only reason that she saved her brother's life was because of her probability powers. And also, and we already knew this, but the collection that her dad shows of her favorite shows and why they were such a hallmark of her life. And also the wrap up of when she's driving through the neighborhood and we see the neighborhood before she takes it over and everything like that.
Fun fact, when they get those DVDs, I forgot what year it was, but one of the DVDs is Malcolm in the Middle, and that show didn't even exist.
That confused me as well, because I'm like, everything else makes sense, but why am I seeing this little dude's face here when it's 1980?
It was like 1994
90
or some
something.
shit.
I'm like, it's too early.
Like, did you get those bootlegs from the future?
Hey, they're allowed to mess up.
So the last good of this episode is that I think they did a good depiction of grief and depression. Because Wanda, all the things she went through with her parents died. Then her brother died. Then Vision died. Then Vision came, well, she killed Vision. Then she watched Vision die. Then she died. Then she came back and couldn't bring Vision back to life. Went to the house where they were supposed to live. And she was just there by herself. So it's just not, I get what you're saying. It still doesn't absolve her of what happens after the hex is created. But we see why it's created and she didn't do it on purpose.
It doesn't absolve her from being a
No, we're going to get there. We're going to get there.
So,
We're going to get there.
With you on Hayward's entire butt crack, don't do it.
We'll get to the bads now.
So, no.
I wanted to
I still
mention
have
one
two
more
goods.
thing.
Go ahead. I still got two goods.
I also liked when we were seeing Agatha with her coven because we see the different colors of the powers basically. So we see everyone else's is blue, indicating the type of magic they're using, but Agatha's is purple because she's learning the darker magics that the coven isn't using. But then we see Wanda, whose is red, and then Agatha is trying to find that out as well. So I like that.
Another good that I have is when Agatha snapped on her, it's like, you got all this power, and you pretty much used it to make breakfast for dinner. That had me rolling. And I just made, I'm sorry, this was hilarious. When she had the kids on leashes like animals. I was dying laughing. I was like,
they don't exist, but what difference does it make?
like, sit you little bastards. But yeah. All right, let's mosey on into them bats. Okay, now we're gonna talk about the bad parts about this episode, and there were a few. There were some fews. Who wants to go ahead and light this cake?
Me.
Go ahead.
Stop framing Hayward and Agatha Harkness as villains. And you know what I'm talking about. You do this with your music and your suspenseful camera angles and shit like that. Like, literally, Agatha Harkness was minding her own fucking business. and then this Nazi came into the neighborhood and took it hostage. What was Agatha doing?
No, the whole reason Agatha even came to Westview was because she was attracted to the power that was already there. She was never already in the town. She just inserted herself into the story because she wanted to find out what Wanda did to create this much power.
Nobody ever said Agatha was a bad guy.
I didn't.
The story frames it that
No,
way.
it doesn't.
The way the production frames it that way.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
She had a whole song that says it was Agatha all along.
She is literally at the end holding fake children by leashes.
She is meant
But
to.
children that
don't
were
exist.
birthed, that she birthed, that means something to
But
her.
the framing is that she is a villain.
No.
That is what the show is framing her as.
But because as far as we know from the show,
Here's
Wanda's children are Wanda's children. She birthed them herself.
They don't exist. They do not exist.
Of course. So what is she earning?
So here's the thing. We know that she's not a
A
villain.
lot of people know she's not a villain.
A lot of people like who?
Who? Because last I checked, when they put camera to people and they put music and editing on there, Wanda still looks like the hero,
No, she don't.
and Agatha looks like the villain.
No, Wanda looks like the person.
Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Okay.
Wanda
You, get,
like,
you
you're
can get
saying
you
the-
can get a general consensus of what people are saying about this show.
Yes, but basically what I'm seeing it as is that Agatha is the antagonist to the situation, meaning she's not the good guy.
She's
She's
just
not
an
a
anti-hero.
necessary villain.
Exactly.
Exactly. She's not necessarily a villain. She's trying to gain the knowledge. And she'll do what she needs to do to gain the knowledge. I don't know.
Okay, that's true. You can be an antagonist or a villain. It's fine. Sometimes they call you the protagonist when you do that.
No, you can be, no, because anti-heroes exist.
That's what I said sometimes.
But when they do that, here's my thing about that. Whenever the Avengers show up, they have this certain music that plays, and it's
Like,
heroic.
be glad that they're here.
Exactly. When Agatha shows up, she does not have that music. They
Same thing with Hayward.
they do this, and this is a TV thing.
They
and this
also
is
do
why
it
he's
with, they also
talking.
do it with Ross too.
Who is wrong?
General Ross.
Ross doesn't have a thing.
But we knew he was a villain. They laid that out
Ross
clear.
is not a
That
villain.
they laid Ross out clear that he was against the Avengers.
No, Ross is just an authority figure.
It's like he don't understand you don't understand that media has a language to it.
I get it, and if you decide to choose to go that route, that's you.
That's not about
It's
what
not
you
about-
choose. Is what they put around all of those elements to make you think.
No, you can no, because if that was the case, then all of us would be
It's-
saying
it's
she's
like-
a villain.
No, because we're seeing how.
I get how you're saying they're friendly.
It's like you don't understand it, but fine. And they do the same thing with Hayward when what is really put out there is he has seen a threat that has popped up and he is creating another vision to stop that threat.
Yes.
You understand that,
Yes.
right? But the editing, the music, the way the show is structured, they want to frame him as a villain.
Because they need you to be mad at something.
Exactly.
No, my thing is this. I'm gonna say this and let it go, and then we'll just agree to disagree. They can put whatever elements that they want and say X, Y, and Z. But my thing is, it's up to the viewers to speculate how they want to see this. Yeah, I don't see him this way because I'm critically thinking about the situation at
You
large.
can't turn your emotions on and off like a fucking
And
robot.
not only that,
that's-
hold on. More specifically, you can't transplant what you feel onto other people.
But who's to say that other people don't feel the way I feel?
They do. I mean,
Who doesn't?
I'm listening. You guys don't like him, but I listen to John Campea. Listen to the reactions and viewer comments. He has tens of hundreds of comments coming in.
Okay.
Oh my God, Agatha is so bad. Oh my God, what if Wanda created Agatha to be the? Somebody literally said, what if Wanda created Agatha to be the villain of her own show?
First of all,
To be the villain of her own reality.
we're going on the assumption that there's not a bunch of stupid people out there.
you can't.
Like what? Like you're talking about? Wait! You're talking about the?
There are literally people who are still saying Evan Peters is a mutant.
Yes.
And there are still people out there that think Mephisto's gonna pop up and be like, "Gotcha,
Yes.
bitch."
Again.
But the thing is,
But okay,
You were talking about people's speculations about what's going on.
get into the Evan Peters thing. You just said that Wanda had mutant powers no less than 5 minutes
I did,
ago.
but I was really just fucking around. We already know the X-Men ain't gonna show up.
Oh my god.
But the show wants you to think that.
exactly. They did specific things to get you to think a specific way. They cast Evan Peters because they wanted you to think X-Men is coming. Even though if you are a lay person that doesn't give a fuck about Avengers and shit like that, but you want to get into this, when you see Evan Peters pop up, you gonna be like, who the fuck is that and why should I care?
My mom caught up. She was like, I don't know who that guy is, but I had explained to her that he was the Quicksilver from the Fox. She was like, okay, whatever.
And that's coming from a person who didn't watch this stuff. But if you're someone who is invested in the Marvel comics, they clearly because they could have cast anybody.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, they even came out and said, "Oh, we were gonna bring Aaron Taylor Johnson back," but
I
then
was really hoping that we're gonna.
but then someone else was like, "But what if we get Evan Peters?"
And that's the point I'm trying to make. Like, they craft the language of that show to make you think and feel specific ways. And the language that they were trying to make you feel about Hayward and Agatha Harkness was that they were villains and that you should dislike them, even though their actions have shown otherwise.
Okay.
Can we now talk?
We're gonna-
Hayward,
Go for it.
because
The hero the show needs.
no, because
Again.
I get what you're saying about
Hayward
how
and Agatha are not bad, but keep on.
I get
She
what you.
disagrees.
But-
Agatha, I agree about, but Hayward, no, fuck that dude, because the way, and I see what you're saying about the way that they framed it, but I'm like, but it makes sense because when we got there, it was like, Haywood was gloating that, yeah, we have the Vision's body. She's like, but I'm his next of kin. I have a right to this body. You're like, no. And he's like, no, you don't.
Because she doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
But Vision named her as his next of kin. So if they were saying that when she broke in and stole the Vision's body, which he fucking knew that she, no. When he fucking knew that she didn't, and basically lied, to have it.
I want you to hold on to the thought.
Keep going.
I want you to hold on to the thought.
So he lied and said that she stole the Vision's body and that she resurrected him when she didn't, and she left him alone because she was like, okay, I don't have any legal rights to this body. They've told me I cannot take this body. Yes, I'm upset about it, but no, I cannot feel the person that I loved in there. So I'm going to leave. And that's exactly what she did. But then he took it upon him.
Keep going.
Keep going.
But then he took it upon himself to, and I'm going to use the word Christian love today, framed. He framed it so everybody else outside of the town would be against Wanda because she's stolen government property and she's doing something bad and she's resurrecting Vision and she's got a weapon of mass
Stop.
And she's got a weapon of mass destruction that she's using for her own personal use. Go.
Okay.
So
First of all, the show.
Fuck Haywood.
Okay. Question.
Wait. The show isn't over, so we don't know if anybody's setting up anybody. We don't know what's going on.
Okay.
I'm just talking about what
But
I've seen.
here's
my thing. So here's my thing about Haywood and how he framed Wanda to be a villain.
We don't know.
No, I'm talking about what she said.
Okay.
Did he really have to frame her when she erected a hexagon around an entire town and took people hostage?
First of all, she wasn't aware that she did that at first as we watched, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on to that thought. I'm going to come back to it.
She wasn't aware that she did it at first, but what his immediate reaction was to do when we had first contact with Wanda was to shoot a missile at her.
Yeah.
To
As
get
you do with
the
a
vision that she had.
People are missing.
Wait. Let her finish. Go ahead.
To get the vision that she had, correct or not correct?
Okay.
Because that one was living, and he wanted to bring his back to life, even though it directly went against what he was saying about not resurrecting the Vision.
And I have some things about that whole Vision thing, but keep going.
I'm done. Go.
Okay.
I got next.
That's fine for you to feel that way, but people were missing, and there is this thing around the town. What the fuck is he supposed to do?
No, I got that completely. But he didn't give a shit about the people in the town, from my understanding, because he wanted the Vision back. The Vision was the only person he was tracking, but he sent a missile into there, not caring about any of the other individuals.
hit Wanda, right?
But not caring about any of the other individuals in the vicinity.
So how
a missile?
How
children?
Wait,
after
real children?
After he was just told that the children were real. He was just told the children were real, but he shot a missile directly at them.
So here's the thing.
No.
Because he tried to fire at her first with the drone. How big do you think this missile is?
From the way we saw it, it's like the length of this table, maybe bigger. I don't know.
Like, it wasn't gonna cause any more damage.
It wasn't a nuke.
It doesn't have to be a nuke. It's still reckless.
Every time they sent non-threatening things into the portal, she fucked with it or threw it back out, or in the case of Monica Rambeau, almost killed her.
And we don't even know what happened to the beekeeper suit guy.
So after he almost killed one of your agents, what should be the retaliation?
Wait. In her defense, especially what we know about Stark technology, we don't know what size that blast could have been, because we've seen Iron Man shoot things this big and they turn into nukes.
Okay. Can I get it?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, so I wrote something down so I remember it. All right, so Hayward, in my opinion, is not a villain. He's an asshole, but he's not a villain.
Yeah.
Wanda, she's done some stuff, and she did it unconsciously. She got a title at the end of the show called The Scarlet Witch. I think really both of them are battling for this title called The Gaslighter. Let me tell you why. She specifically said in the line when she was talking to Vision on the couch, I don't know how any of this started. Okay, yeah, sure. okay, we got you. You did this unconsciously. Except that moment we saw you walk into the black and white and you was like, okay, this is reality now. You may not remember how it all started, but you're perpetuating and keeping it going. So him arguing her down on that couch about cut this shit out, and she was like, I don't know how it started. Okay, I didn't ask you how it started. I asked you to cut the shit out. And she was like, knock at the door. Okay, so that we realized that was Agatha, whatever.
I'm not disputing that.
Now, Hayward is like, there's a supernatural threat. We can't figure out. There's a supernatural threat. We can't figure out how to stop it. I'm also tasked with bringing this sentient robot back to, status so we can have some type of line of defense. Oh look, Wanda's here. Maybe she can do it. Let me egg her on a little bit and let her see her dead lover, so maybe she can bring him back. Oh, she can't. Okay, get out. You're not used to us.
I got a counter to that. There is no way he could possibly know that she would do what she did after seeing her dead body.
Well, one, we don't know how powerful. Coming off of the Avengers and what they know what she did to Thanos, we don't know. They said they don't know what her powers are specifically, but it was like, okay, let's bring her put her down there and see what happens.
So if my thing is, why are they picking and choosing when to count Vision as a person? Because when he wrote down that he does not want to be resurrected, when they were lying and saying that Wanda resurrected him, it was false. And they said, oh, well, we're going to count that. But then it doesn't count when he labels Wanda as his next of kin.
So I'm glad you say that. And this goes back to what Christian was saying earlier and was trying to get across to Ken. This is all framing. Certain things are said so that certain pieces of information can be picked up by an audience to, I don't want to say trick, but to make you feel and think a certain way, so that when stuff is revealed later, and please don't think I'm telling you this as if you're an idiot, because I'm not. I'm just explaining why that is. Did you? So this is my bad about that, and it goes into all this shit with Haywood that we've been talking about. This is gonna, and I don't know. Okay, maybe this is kind of a theory, but I don't think Hayward was lying about Wanda stealing the body. I think he thinks Wanda stole, and this is why.
And it could be. We don't know.
This is why they were tracking Vision's body in the portal. Do you remember that? Darcy pulled up files, and she also pulled up a thing where they were tracking Vision's vibranium sick. This was in the Halloween episode.
I got you. But I think that's because she created a whole other Vision.
Yeah.
Okay,
from herself.
They don't know that.
They don't, but they know that she did not steal the body, and they used that, and they used the specific footage of her breaking the glass and coming down when she was there and everybody was around, and he let her through the door to say, this is when she stole the body.
But this is why I feel like he's not lying, because he thinks she stole the body.
But he can't.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
Sorry.
So they're tracking this other Vision. At that juncture, who is he lying to? Who does he have to lie to? He doesn't need to lie to his people. If I'm Hayward and y'all my people, and I told all y'all to go in there and get it, you don't need a fucking reason.
I don't need a video to show you.
I don't need a video to show you. The video was for Darcy and them, and even them, why do we really need Darcy? I can kick you out anytime. FBI, Jimmy Woo, you don't matter either. You're FBI. You're not Sword. You can get out too. I don't have to lie to y'all. Go in there and get my shit.
Well, okay. Here's another thing. We don't know the full story. We literally just caught the same view from two different perspectives. We don't know who's telling it. We don't know which one is the real. It could be. We don't know.
So
we don't know.
He been saying there is no Mephisto, but now I'm kind of thinking that there's a third party, and it may or may not be Mephisto. But I think Hayward thinks, because my whole thing about the White Vision was, no, they created a whole nother Vision.
So where's the original Vision body?
And that's the only factor that I can put in it.
Can I go?
Go for it.
Because when she got down there, they were literally shaving off the paint to Vision and they were rewiring him so that they could get him back online.
Here's the thing.
Because his body wasn't torn up like that.
Well, I get that, but the government is stupid. And by that, I mean this. There's no... Did
you know this? I had no idea.
But let me explain. They've been out there for how many days have they been out there?
A week.
About a week. You think the government is going to be able to put together a vision that was scraps already?
It wasn't scraps because all Thanos did was rip the stone out the head.
No. Okay, if you look closer,
they tore it apart.
They were pulling the circuitry apart.
Yeah, his body was completely dismantled.
Because they dismantled it, so they put it back together.
No.
They would have been able to put it back that fast.
There's no way. You can't put a car together that fast.
I was just about to say that.
Okay.
So I'm not a mechanic, but I work on cars enough to know that if I need my car in a week, I should have been fixing on it 2 weeks ago. Cause I can't just put some shit together in a week.
And
okay, so you're telling me from when they had already pulled it apart, let's say on one Sunday, they had already pulled it apart. They couldn't have started putting it back together that same Sunday.
No. Wait, you thinking in the wrong aspect.
And they have it ready by
They had the body
Sunday.
for over 5 years.
They did.
They've been doing research and development for that long.
Okay, but then when they found the other signature in the hex, they were like, oh shit, put it back together. Let's have it ready by the Sunday and then just jumpstart it.
No, it matched the vision. So they was like, okay, this thing is alive, but we need to go fight it or kill it or something because that shit shouldn't exist.
So here's the thing though, and this is why I think White Vision isn't that original Vision body. Because in that same Halloween episode that you're talking about, Vision tries to leave the barrier and he starts turning back into the dismantled Vision.
See, that's not how I saw it. I saw pieces of the body breaking off from the whole thing, going back into the hex.
Because that's
the realm that he can only exist in.
Exactly.
So I didn't see it as the body returning to that torn up shit that Sword made it. I saw it as, okay, it's going back that way.
Yeah, because literally the body was breaking to pieces and being absorbed back in. But I gotta get this bad out. My bad was she made kids with her imagination.
Okay. That's why the kids only have her powers. This new?
Well, one has Pietro powers.
Okay, so it's in the family? It's genetic, I guess?
She has sex with her imagination.
Okay.
Nobody else thinks it's a little weird.
They did it in the comics.
Yeah.
I mean, it's less weird than her having sex with a corpse, in my opinion.
That was just scary.
I'd rather be her imagination than a dead body.
I'm just seeing strings and pulleys at her. Oh yeah, show me why you use your vision. Use your vision on me, you sick bastard. Okay, but alright, we talked about the bads and you saw how heated it got. As a matter of fact, it's getting hot in her. But before we take off all them clothes, let's talk about how...
You say something weird?
Alright, as you guys can see, the bads are very divisive. But before we go down this rabbit hole any further, we gotta talk about speculations. That's right, we gotta get those theories, which happen to be true 99% of the time when we spit that truth. John, go ahead. What you see?
So Paul Bettany talking about, I'm going to act with someone that I've never acted with before. This is the pinnacle of my career. Blah, 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 blah. Who y'all think it is?
I think it's Patrick Stewart. I'm just playing. I think it's actually Benjamin Cumberbatch. Isn't Paul Bettany British?
Yes.
Has he ever worked with Benjamin Cumberbatch?
Say that name one more time.
Benjamin. Has he ever worked with Benjamin?
Repeat after me. Eggs.
Benjamin Cucumber.
Benedict.
Come on back.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Come on back.
Come in batches. Benjamin come in batches. So
come in batches.
So I had
an
interesting theory of who he might be acting up against.
Sir Ian McKellen.
No.
There is no Magneto.
I know.
That shit is not happening. There is no X-Men.
There is no X-Men.
Like, no.
Wait till they.
I think it's going to be a classic TV star from one of those old shows. Maybe even Vic Van Dyke.
You heard of Vic Mignogna?
Dick Van Dyke.
Vic Mignogna is coming to WandaVision. Who else got a theory out there?
Oh my god.
I had one that going back to me saying that Evan Peters is not like Quicksilver, but he's the missing person in the town that Jimmy was looking for, because when Agatha was saying I had to get a Pietro, I couldn't get yours because yours was on a whole other continent and filled with holes. So I'm just like, well, it doesn't make sense for you to go to a whole different reality to grab a living one with the same powers, especially if you can do your whole necromancy that she said she could do and do like a minor illusion on the body so it didn't have the holes in it.
And sidebar, that is why I was of the illusion that she's lived in that town, because she may, if she traveled from wherever she traveled to Westview, why would it have been difficult to just go to Sokovia and get his body?
Exactly.
That doesn't
and
make sense to me.
And it sounds like a lot more effort for you to go to a whole new multiverse to grab somebody else that's already living. That sounds like more effort.
Exactly.
But again, these are all theories as they stand. My biggest theory is that Darcy's shirts are made of vibranium. That is the only way
You're
they
gonna
can
get
contain.
slapped.
Those
People are gonna get slapped.
those Giga
Candace,
Monsters.
shut the fuck up. I swear to God.
I also think.
Not another thing. I swear to God.
I also.
I would slap the shit out of you.
I have to ask, what's the issue?
I also think too that
I'm just talking about
the Luke Skywalker cameo that everybody thinks is gonna happen, I also think it was Evan Peters.
No.
I don't think we're getting that. I think we already got that cameo, and I think that it was supposed to be Evan
That's
Peters.
okay, everyone. John has been wrong on multiple occasions before, but we're gonna find out in episode
I've been
9.
more right than wrong.
We've all been more right than
You
wrong.
still holding out for Denzel, ain't you?
Yeah, I also think Denzel as Blue Marvel is gonna show up.
Thank you guys for joining us.
I just hope Monica shows up next episode.
As we see, theories can come out of anywhere, even our own butts. Like and subscribe. Join us for next week's episode as we wrap up the thrilling conclusion of WandaVision.
I'm just saying, y'all gonna have real boo-boo faces when this last episode show up and no one appears.
And I will be bringing the shit cakes for people to eat when the mutants
I
get
hope
home.
you do.
Like and subscribe, but until next time, peace.
So, I wanted to ask you.
Roll the credits.
Wolverine is a bitch. Oh, we cut.